Business leaders believe that the right decision intelligence can make or break your organization's success. And I can't agree more. Now, how to solve the challenges such as this huge amount of data challenges or this many disparate data sources or the difficult to understand data. And how to take all these many opportunities that you have to improve your business with this data. We have three amazing speakers. James Richardson, he's the Vice President, Product Strategy Analytics at Oracle. And we have Andrea Cesarini, he's the Managing Director at Accenture, Oracle Business Group, and Global CTO at Accenture. And we have Max Lungarella, he's the CEO and the founder at ddrobotec. And they are here to discuss the latest research at the decision dilemma at your organization. Now, James, let's start with you. Can you talk more about the research? So what is the decision dilemma and why do organizations have this?
So since its very beginning, the point of analytics has been hopefully to speed up and improve decision making. What we want to know is how true is that? After we've been doing analytics and business intelligence for 30 years, are we close to that? So we've done this very large survey globally in 17 countries with more than 14,000 people. And the point is to try and understand decision making today in the world.
Yeah, and what we see is that organizations have too much data. We discussed already in the beginning, and this causes quite some stress for many people, many executives. So what does this mean for the different type of departments and how can they solve this?
Well, it's very interesting. One of the findings in the survey was that across HR and marketing and finance and customer experience, around 90% of people, 90, pretty consistent, 93, 94% of people want data to help them make better decisions. But there is also the understanding that many of them are struggling with how data is delivered to them today. They feel overwhelmed by the data. They feel anxious. And one of the things that we're trying to do at Oracle is apply augmentation or machine learning to help people that aren't data scientists. So maybe you're a campaign manager and you're really trying to understand the effectiveness of your campaigns. How do you do that? Do you go to a data scientist or an expert? Sure, if you've got one to hand. What you really need is a system to help you do that. So we're finding that actually across the board, areas of the business that were perhaps not that technical a few years ago, perhaps HR wasn't that technical. It's pretty much universal now that people want to be data-driven. But the fact of the matter is they don't always feel that they're that comfortable with the information that's delivered to them today. The other thing that we think is really important is it's not just about delivering insights to people, it's about connecting that insight to them taking action. And that's one of the areas where we feel that Oracle is very strong. And one of the reasons why we did the survey to understand decision-making behaviors. So it's across the board. Everyone wants to use data, but not everyone feels equally enabled to right now, Ronald.
Now, let's go to Max. James, he made some thought-provoking statistics, and I think I have another one from the report, where in the report is stated that 70% of the people have given up on making a decision due to too much data. Now, you have a great case at ddrobotec. Can you share your experience and can you share your use case?
Definitely. So we conceive and develop a health intelligence platform, which is composed essentially for training and diagnostic systems and cloud-based analytics. So we have kind of a lot of experience in gathering, processing, and visualizing data. And our experience shows us that data is actually very helpful to basically help people regain trust in their bodies. But at the same time, we need to be able to simplify the data as much as possible. And a large part of our mission is actually exactly that. So it's an educational mission, essentially. And I think data can overwhelm on the one hand. So we are all suffering from information overload. But on the other hand, it's an interesting challenge. And it's actually empowering in many ways if you educate people to think critically about what sort of data they're exposed to. So that's part of what we do. So the way we do it, we just simplify as much as possible, and we try to extract as much as possible algorithmically, and then interpret the data for our customers and users. It's mostly an interpretation challenge in a way.
So let's dive a little bit more in detail. Can you share the key steps that you have taken to solve the decision dilemma at your company?
Certainly. So essentially, like everybody else nowadays, we suffer from the decision dilemma, especially the users of our health intelligence platform. The wealth of information we are gathering leads typically then to a lack of human attention because people are overwhelmed. So we are reducing the information to easy to grasp picture or analogies. One of them is the analogy of a flower. So essentially, when you start using our technology, the flower is small, its petals are small. And when you improve in certain aspects, such as strength or power, the petal related to strength and power grow. And so the person basically, the only task a person has is to make the flower grow. And the interpretation of the data, of the dry numbers, is then left to the experts, such as medical doctors.
Yeah, not everybody is a data analyst, but the ease of use is so important to use data everywhere. And it was, as you mentioned, what I think is a key point is data is there to take actions. Now, Andrea, you work in all different kinds of industries. Can you share your experience about the difference, on the other hand, maybe the similarities between the industries about this decision dilemma?
Yes, sure. So I have to say that I have two twins of 7 years old, so I will start with a quote that perhaps will make you some memory around Spider-Man. So with more data means more power, and with more powers come responsibility, but also problem, no? So all the enterprise, wherever is the industry they are operating with, they acknowledge the importance of data to forecast, report, and ultimately making the decision. But let's say there are five major points that they need to address. You mentioned already that the fact that data is bigger, but we can say that they are expanding at speed and scale that is hard to fathom. But it's not only this. Data are more complex. With artificial intelligence, 30% of the corporate data will become synthetic. And this is just to train artificial intelligence and machine learning. But the best and biggest problem that we are experiencing today is that the data remains siloed, trapped in functional silos and systems. Then there is another point which is about the speed. So data velocity is faster because artificial intelligence and machine learning require a faster access to operational data. And lastly is, back to the industry, the fact that the industry boundaries are blurring. Give an example, I was 2 weeks ago at Mobile World Congress. Out of 100,000 people, 40% of the attendees were coming not from the telco, which was a telco event, but for other industry. No? So data sharing is now critical. So these challenges aren't going away. And there is a point that is important. If you want to exploit artificial intelligence and machine learning, you need to figure out data. So data has become critical driver for total enterprise reinvention, and this is to redefine the performance of the enterprise, but also the industry where the enterprise is working on.
Andrea, I really like your Oracle closing example. It's practice what you preach. But also, we need to close the gap between the high 90s percentage that want to be data driven and the almost, let's say, 20% that still feels that they are ready for it. So we need to fill this gap. Thank you, James, Andrea, and Max, for sharing your great research and providing these insights, which are most up to date in defining the decision dilemma. And for the audience, thank you for watching, and we look forward to seeing you next time.